Hello and welcome to News at Noon. I'm Chris Nelson. A local Pontiac landmark is looking quite different to passersby this morning. Reporter Dustin Blitchok has more on what's going on at the Pontiac Silverdome. Dustin, what can you tell us?
That's right, Chris. If you were driving down M59 in Pontiac on Thursday, you might have noticed that the half-moon inflatable roof of the Silverdome was missing. Staff there tell us that it was deflated as they begin renovations on the stadium. They said they intend to install a hard roof that will include solar panels. The dome was sold from the city to Triple Investment Group at an auction in 2009 for $583,000.
All right, thanks a lot, Dustin. In Washington, D.C., new members of Congress met after the holidays wrapped up, and Michigan's government is having problems of its own. Charlie Crum has more on these two stories. Charlie.
Ohio Republican John Boehner was narrowly reelected Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives with 220 votes in the 435-member chamber Thursday when conservatives who were unhappy with the fiscal cliff deal reached at the end of the year threatened to defect. But with the alternative being Democrat Nancy Pelosi, Republicans who are in the majority in the House finally re-elected Boehner. Congress faces two more fiscal challenges in the form of the federal debt ceiling in February and mandatory spending cuts that have been put off until March. Economists say unsatisfactory compromises on those issues could affect the nation's economy. And in Lansing, the administration of Republican Governor Rick Snyder is dealing with an error that left 85,000 people receiving food assistance without the money to buy groceries that is usually loaded onto their bridge card accounts. The error affected account numbers ending in 0. There's about 1.8 million Michigan residents who receive food assistance, and the average family on assistance receives about $540 a month.
A Novi High School student has the opportunity to attend President Barack Obama's inauguration ceremony in Washington, D.C. later this month. Videographer Tim Thompson spoke with the young lady about her upcoming adventure.
Hi, my name is Xiang Huang. I'm a sophomore at Novi High School, and I will be going to the high school presidential inauguration conference this January 19th to the 23rd. I'm very excited to be going to this conference because I'll be learning a lot about politics and about the president and what exactly it takes to run a campaign. I've always been interested in this because I've always felt that politics was just convincing people to do what you want them to do, and I hope that it's just more than that.
It's been over a week since Oakland County received several inches of snow, but some side streets in Waterford Township have yet to be cleared, leaving residents aggravated.
A neighbor here was coming out of his driveway and it slid right through. As you can tell, the road is full of ice and snow and just backed right into the ditch here, and we actually had to help him out. Well, it's time consuming first off because whenever you're trying to get to class and to work, and it takes double as long to get out of here, because you got to slow. It would be very slow or you'll slide anywhere. As you can tell, he was probably in a rush here and he just slid right in. So it's just frustrating because it's not safe to park your car even on the side of the road like sometimes you have to do. And it's frustrating to have to deal with that each and every day.
Unwanted antiques and old jewelry that's been collecting dust for years can be exchanged for cold hard cash through this Sunday. The premier Gold, Silver, and Coin Association is purchasing unwanted treasures at the Waterford Township Holiday Inn Express.
Some of the items that we're interested in is some of your vintage pocket watches. Military items are a big area that we do specialize in. Your bayonets, antique firearms, vintage guitars, older comic books, antique toys like Coca-Cola memorabilia, some of the glassware, older coins, your pre-64 coins, quarters and dimes, prior to 1970, and your half dollars, older silver dollars, silver certificates. Those are some of the few items that we do specialize in. We do buy a lot of other stuff. Obviously, you buy a lot of your broken, unwanted gold jewelry, old silver, sterling silver flatware sets. As far as pocket watches go, your Illinois, Elgin, Waltham, are just some of the few to name. We do buy higher end wristwatches as well, your Rolex and Breitlings, things of that nature. Costume jewelry as well. Some of the other items that we are specializing in is, some of your vintage music instruments, Epiphone, Les Paul, Gibson.
On to football. Sports columnist Pat Caputo shares his thoughts on the Lions' disappointing 4-12 season.
Bottom line about that team, the biggest issue with them, and it's been talked about too little really when you look at why they went from 10-6 to 4-12, was a lack of creating turnovers defensively and big plays defensively. They need somebody who can make big plays. That's why, if I were to look at the draft, I think their number one need is an edge rusher, and this kid, Bartavius Mingo from LSU, would be perfect for the Lions, I think. He's a terrific player, got closing speed, he can make some plays, play linebacker, defensive end. They can do a number of things with him and be creative. They also need somebody in the secondary who intercepts a pass now and then. More sacks, more interceptions. That's where their productivity went down the most from 2011 to 2012.
And that wraps up our newscast for this week. Join us again on Monday at theoaklandpress.com. I'm Chris Nelson for News at Noon. Have a great weekend.